Hey team, Katie here from Equestrian Movement, and we're going to do a little bit of catching a horse in an open paddock.
Or watching Sarah fall through a fence.
And watching Sarah trip through a fence. So we've got Zody out in the paddock here, and we're going to do a little bit... I specifically chose Zody because I thought he would go away from you.
That's right, and I've got to stomp, don't I?
Yeah. So what we had planned to show you is a horse that we needed to do seeking connection work with, because they aren't easy to catch, but that is not Zody today apparently. And horses, it never goes to plan, does it? So what we can do, we're going to watch Sarah do some sending away with Gunner, because Gunner is Sarah's pony now, and he is not going to be particularly happy about Sarah catching another horse and telling him to go away. I like that he's giving you some calming signals there, Sarah, telling you to calm your farm.
Let me love on
you. Telling Sarah she doesn't need to be bringing this energy to the training.
Good boy.
So he's particularly not going to be stoked about Sarah catching Zody and ignoring him.
You might need to move the camera.
Yes.
Okay, aggressive moves.
Aggressive move. So I've asked Sarah to approach Zody in my resting bitch face mode, which is in a very active, stompy walk, where we're not really thinking about how to approach a flight animal. We're thinking about our to-do list and the jobs that we have on for the day. So what we're looking here is how the horses don't like us when, well, some horses, both April and Gunner, don't particularly care about the stompy approach, but how we're going to talk to some of our horses with regards to consenting approach and consenting haltering and consenting catching. And especially when we're looking at being in a herd dynamic, it's not a good idea to be bringing the treats in, because we don't want, these confident horses here like April and Gunner coming in and mugging for the treats and running the horses over the top of us. And we need to be able to approach Zody without the other horses interfering with that catch. So Sarah had forewarning that April and Gunner are going to block her efforts to catch Zody, and so Sarah is now going to approach Zody from an angle of consenting approach and consenting the catch. So things that you're looking for, that was so quick and it was so subtle, but when they look at you, that's the first indication that they're feeling uncomfortable with your approach. So taking a step back gives them control over your approach, and it makes these horses that don't trust humans and that are a bit flightier have more confidence in that catch, because they learn that they can control your proximity and their bubble through eye contact. So Sarah is doing a quick little bit of targeting with the halter there. Zody's giving some nice relaxation cues. Gunner is going to block our view. So is April. See if we can stay straight up the line here. So when we're doing our consent work, the first thing that we're looking at is targeting. So Sarah's getting Zody to target the halter for consent to use the halter. And we're watching that body language there for when Zody is giving permission to touch. So the targeting, this doesn't happen, straight away, where they know that targeting is giving consent. You've got Angel coming up in behind you as well. But Zody has done a lot of this practice here where he is giving consent to touch and catch. He's also going to be a little bit more standoffish with the other horses around because they'll chase him away. So we need to be able to use our send away lesson plan to send the horses we don't want to catch away, so that it gives us space to catch the horse that we want to catch, and space to approach the horse that is hard to catch the way it wants to be approached. So Sarah knows her send away ask, and the horses also know this send away. If your horse doesn't have experience in the send away ask, it is important to have taught them that first, because we can damage the relationship by chasing them away from us and spooking them away from us. We just need to be able to ask them to move out. Hello, Gunner, of our space. I need to send Gunner away from that fence line. Gunner wants to be the star of the show. So Sarah's doing a little bit of consent to the halter. And it's also challenging because Sarah doesn't know how I would normally catch and halter him. So she has to read his body language and keep him engaged and active in that conversation and having confidence in her ask, while Sarah is also telling the other horses to leave. So sending away from, moving out of your space, and then the invitation to the horse that you want to come into your space. As you give the invitation to come into your space, the other horses come back into your space, send them away, and then Zody gets more confidence with coming into his space. Gunner, giving us some beautiful relaxation cues here, is taking Sarah's instruction beautifully. She doesn't work with the other horses though. So consent to touch, touching with the halter, send away the pony that is not supposed to be in the space. Good girl. And she's just a good little girl where she follows the human. So you can see how Sarah started off quite gentle with how she was asking Angel out of her space, and so she's escalated that ask because Angel kept coming back into her space, and then Angel goes and takes it out on April. Such a classic horse relationship dynamic. So consent to touch with the halter, consent to catch. We now have the lead around him, so he's caught any sudden movements and he will pull away though, so we are trying to keep him in that threshold where he has capacity to self-regulate. And then he's got the catch. So self-regulated so that the halter is on, and now all the horses are back in the space again.